I just knew with an absolute passion that I wanted a space where people could access contemporary art. They could come in, a space for artists to sell their work, and a space for the community to see art really easily.
Get Radio Breakfast with Rich Smith.
Well, we continue our Takeover week this week. We're celebrating Oxford Independent's 10th birthday, chatting to some wonderful, incredible indies and finding out more about them. And my next guest on the show is Sarah Wiseman from Wiseman Gallery. Sarah, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us. We briefly just chatted just during the song there that we both of us went, wow, 27 years. The gallery has been there down in Summertown.
Yes.
It's an amazing feat to the longevity. And I guess the question must be, going back 27 years,
Okay.
and kind of opening and having the gallery. I mean, that must have been an amazing feeling. Could you envisage what the next 27 years would have held in store for the gallery?
Absolutely no way. I don't think many people's independent business stories start in their early 20s, which mine did. Most people start their own businesses after they've had a few years of working and figuring stuff out. I decided I was going to do it all by myself, and I had no idea what the next 27 years were going to hold. I just knew with an absolute passion that I wanted a space where people could access contemporary art. They could come in, a space for artists to sell their work, and a space for the community to see art really easily. 27 years ago, the art world wasn't what it is today. It wasn't as global. It wasn't as big. Crikey, there was no internet. There was no Facebook. There's no nothing. It's weird.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I think the kind of the common theme, and this Takeover the week, I think we've sort of seen bits and bobs of it, is that start with passion.
Yes.
And that drive. And I think a lot of people sort of listening to this, they have a sort of passion and a drive, but maybe, sometimes life gets in the way, and sometimes you go, actually, I'm going to have to go this way, and that might be my passion, but I have to take this lane and do this because that feels right and what have you. But you sort of taking yourself out of the way, going, look, I've got a clear vision, I've got this clear passion, I want to do this, and having that, that's the hardest kind of bit to sort of move the boulder, isn't it? And to let it kind of sail down this hill for the next 27 years. So having that passion and doing that, it's an amazing achievement and a wonderful thing. I mean, just going across those years, you mentioned the sort of changes and what have you that happened, and of course not having internet or all this kind of mad things that didn't happen. How has everything changed for you over those years? And how have you had to, it's a terrible word that's come from COVID, pivot and adapt and change across that time?
Well, weirdly, it sounds like it's been tumultuous, but weirdly it kind of hasn't. So the art world was already highly communicative to its clients through things like printed catalogues. So the printed catalogue basically became websites and the internet. So weirdly, a lot of things transitioned quite simply, and the art world were very early adopters of websites. So I had my first website in, I think, 1999. So
Wow.
yeah. So all of that has been quite normal. I can't remember the year I set up my newsletter, So when I hear businesses going, oh, I'm setting up my website, I'm setting up my newsletter, I'm like, oh, okay, that's brilliant. But, what's taken you so long? Just get to it, because it's just, those things are just a natural part of business. I think the one thing I'm going to honestly say that I have not loved is the rise of social media. And I'm obviously a very confident speaker, and I can chat to people. I can chat to anyone about art. I don't love chatting on Instagram about art. That's probably something I don't like so much. But, you kind of get on with it. You learn how to do it.
Yeah, that's it. And when you're kind of flying the flag, on your own kind of thing, it's always those parts. You kind of go, there's the bit that I love, i.e., having the space, presenting the art, probably chatting to artists and showing people the amazing things that you've got in the gallery. But there's always, and this, is a case for, I reckon, every indie that we're going to speak to. There's always that side of things where you go, no, this is not the fun bit. This is the bit that I'm like, oh no. And that you've got to take the
Absolutely.
rough with the smooth, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think and then you have to find a way to enjoy it. And my colleague Erin, who my assistant, she works with me. She's a lot younger, and she has an enthusiasm for it. So that kind of like makes me, oh, actually, I've got to up my game. I've got to get in with this. And so you try and make it fun and try and do it in different ways. But I think that's sort of the fundamental business actually weirdly hasn't changed a huge amount. But the way we communicate with people has changed so much more. And I guess we do more actually to communicate with people because it's harder to get your message across because there's so much, external noise.
Yeah, of course. And always, but for something that's been around for so long, do you get chance to look back? And we've done kind of a bit more of a reflective conversation here, and we'll get on to what's happening in the here and now in a second. But kind of looking back and going, are there moments that you kind of go, wow, that was incredible, that was amazing, or I'm proud of that, or that was a great thing?
Yeah. Absolutely loads. And I think one of my proudest moments is when I go we've had clients for that whole time. So they've been with us on that whole journey. And so when you go into their homes, and this is a huge privilege to get a bit emotional, they've got a history of your business in their home.
Yeah.
In the art that they've bought over the years. And that's huge.
Yeah. That it is, isn't it? Because it's you've kind of presented it to them, and look, it comes almost full circle around to that passion that started it, and then the reward of seeing all that is just incredible, and it's an amazing thing. Well, let's move on to the right here, right now.
Okay.
If someone popping into the gallery today, tomorrow, a little bit later on, what can people expect and see, and what's happening this week, for example?
So this week is the last week of our exhibition called Chapters. So we brought together 4 amazing artists. And so everyone's interested in the artist journey. So this is what this exhibition highlights. We've got 4 women artists, and they're all in their mid-50s. And they all didn't sort of go to art college and have in their 20s and have like what we would describe as a linear art career. They've done other things, worked in social care, worked in business, and they've sort of started their art career a bit later. And it's quite interesting to hear their journeys and see their journeys. And that's what the exhibition is a presentation of their work. It's very bright and colourful. There's lots of figurative work and abstract work. We did a wonderful panel discussion for them on International Women's Day, where they could share their stories, which was really fabulous. We had a big crowd in the gallery, and it was a really wonderful event to celebrate them and to celebrate their journeys. And so it's been a wonderful month, actually. So people can come into the gallery today and enjoy that exhibition.
I'm sure people were listening to that right now. Absolutely amazing. And look, I guess the thing to say is here's to the next 27 years.
Absolutely.
Onwards and upwards. Sarah, absolute joy and a pleasure catching up with you this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us on.
Absolute pleasure. Sarah Wiseman there from Sarah Wiseman Gallery. As we mentioned, a long time going in Summertown. Go and pop in today if you're walking past and go and see those amazing exhibitions. Great stuff.